What's up, guys? We are back. Anthony and Jimmy, Fitness Profit Multiplier. Today, we're going to be discussing how to get 30 new small group clients in 30 days. It sounds like a pipe dream to most, but me and Jimmy have done it. Well, I didn't do it. I tied my best record, which was 28. Jimmy actually went on and did, what'd you do, 32?
38.
38. So, yeah, if you take the middle number is kind of 35, but whatever, we'll go with 30. And basically how you guys are going to be able to add 30 new members to your bottom line in the next 30 days. Now, I guess my question to you guys listening to this is, what would that do? How does that significantly change your business? Think about it. 30 new members paying you your brand new price, your premium price. What does that do? What does that do to your bottom line? What does that do to your profit? What does that do to your gym? And again, most guys in most facilities, and even when I started too, I was only signing up a quarter of that, 8 people a month new. And to be able to do 30 now, it's a big game changer in the growth of the facility.
Yeah, and even when you get to a certain level, Anthony, it's almost like you have to add 30 people to even grow. Once you get to a certain level as a business owner, it's like right now you may be thinking, well, I'm at 15K, 20K in top line, and things are going pretty well, and I'm adding my 8 to 10 new members a month and this and that. It's not going to cut it when you get to the point where you want to actually have a business that allows you to have the freedom that you want, the income that you want, the impact that you want. You're going to need to get to a point where you can reliably and consistently add at least 20, 25 members, right? I mean, every month on average, right? Because when you factor in your loss rate as your business grows and how many people you actually need to keep the amount of clients growing, it's going to be around 30, and you may see some of these, guys out there that are saying, "Oh, I'll add, I'll get you 100 in a month." Well, 100 people that are going to stay for a month, or maybe 100 opportunities, right? We're saying 30 closed clients, 30 closed clients, right? These are members that are going to stay with you long term. These are members that are on an actual membership, not some front end offer. These are 30 paid members that are there to stick with you long term and are going to drastically impact your month over month run rate. So, Anthony, I don't know what's the first thing these guys need to know about getting those numbers?
Well, there's a lot, man. I mean, and I think, like you said, you think, okay, I got to get 30 new clients in there. What's the first step that I do? And I would say you have to make sure that your marketing, your system for marketing is on point 100%, because it's not going to all come from one source. And this is the thing I think that kind of me and Jimmy have been looking for this silver bullet for client acquisition for years. Since we became friends, essentially, is one of the things that we've always come back to. How do we get more people in? How do we get more people in? And that's always like the age-old question. And the answer to that question is, like I said, there's not a silver bullet. The answer to that question is it's having multiple poles in the water. It's almost like you're out to sea, you're in a boat, out to sea, and you're fishing. And your job as a fisherman is to bring back as many fish as possible. Well, you wouldn't sit there with one pole in the water. You would be there all day. So you need to have multiple lines on your boat, all being able to cast out to bring back more fish. And I think the key with this is you have to have as many poles as you can handle. Because if I keep using that analogy, if I circle the boat with, reels, I'm never going to be able to focus on getting the bait on each hook.
Right.
So I think you need to just sit on the back of your boat, put out 5 major poles, get your big bait. The fishing analogy is perfect. Hook each line, throw it in, hook each line, throw it in, and check each pole and see how many fish you're bringing in. And comfortably manage Okay, got the fish, take it off. Got the fish, take it off. Got the fish, take it off. Rebait it, rebait it, rebait it. And do that over and over again. And that's really how you grow your gym. Again, it's not one play, it's not one silver bullet thing that's going to do it. It's how well can I keep my fishing poles in the water? How fast can I reload my fishing poles? And how fast can I reel the fish in? That's ultimately what it's going to come down to. So we're saying 30 new people, but in reality, Jimmy signed up 38. So the sky's really the limit. It's just how fast you could reel that fish in that's going to make all that difference.
Right. And
I
imagine,
can't believe how well the fishing analogy worked.
It's good. I like the fishing analogy because it's very much appropriate for some offshoots that you can use from it, right? Because if you have too many fishing poles in the water, right? You're trying to run Facebook and Google and YouTube and community events and
the newspaper,
yeah,
Yelp, all these things to take your
all
money.
at
The
once.
stupid, the shopping carts where you can, those people call me all the time, like advertise your business on a shopping cart.
Right. And you're trying to do all of this stuff, right? And you're running referral promotions, and you're, doing charity workouts, and you're doing all this stuff all at once. You can't manage all of it, right? Especially not by yourself. If you're a one-man show, right? If you're a one-man show, you might be able to handle 3 lines in the water, right? 5 might be a little tough if you're one person. So the analogy dovetails so well into you being able to handle more holes in the water if you have a system around how you're going to check the fishing poles, right? So a system around how you're going to follow up with these leads. And if you have somebody helping you, right? You have a team member that is your sales associate and they're handling it, right? So you may just be driving the boat and finding where all the fish are, right? Because you know what's going to work best for your business in terms of your marketing knowledge. So you're driving the boat, you're like, okay, here's where a big school of fish is. And that may be your Facebook ad campaign that works really well, or maybe a YouTube video, or optimizing your website, whatever that may be. That's where all the schools of fish are. And then your salesperson is going to set those lines and get each avenue to come into your business properly. Now, the poles that we like, we're sticking with the fishing analogy, right? And I'd love to just reiterate the fact that gurus out there will tell you this one simple strategy, right? Just like all the fitness BS that's out there. Yep. One simple strategy to lose 12 pounds in a week, or whatever it is on the magazines, right? Mm-hmm. One simple food that you're eating that's sabotaging all of your fitness results, right? Delete this food and or add this food, or whatever it may be, and the celebrities are all on there, and all the guys that are in the movies are taking tests, and that's why they're fit, it's not they don't work hard, but like, okay. So, these gurus out there, maybe they're using a bait and switch offer or whatever, right? Something that might not be the best thing for your business long term. But when you look at it, it's not just one simple strategy or one simple hack or one simple trick. You can't just put up a Facebook ad and then expect your business to be this amazing business that it produces you a ton of profit and has a high top line and all this stuff, right? What we figured out over the years, Anthony and I were, like you said, we're looking for a silver bullet. We're looking for this like magical trick that's going to allow us to just explode our businesses, right? And we never got that answer really from anybody that we work with, right? Because we've worked with other guys that help gym owners in the past, but we never really got the answer to, well, what is the silver bullet? What do we do to make sure we get there? And nobody really told us as well as we're going to tell you right now in this podcast, because we want you guys to succeed. You people listening to this, you guys and gals listening to this podcast, we want you to succeed. So the answer is, there is no silver bullet. The secret is all the poles need to be in the water either at the same time or on a rotating schedule. That's how you do it. That's how you get there. because you're going to get, you know, 8 to 10 leads from your website every month or so, right? You're going to get an additional 8 to 10 leads from referrals, right? And then you have to add the Facebook stuff. You got to add a little bit of extra charity workout type of thing, some other things to draw people into your business, right? And if you have everything running on all cylinders at all times, that's when you get to 30 and 40 new client months, where you're able to drastically change your business by adding a significant amount of people at 1 month. Eventually get to a point where you just have to do that on a regular basis to maintain your revenue, which is kind of where I'm at. But in the beginning, when you're lower, you just have to get those 30 to 40 coming in, and you have a couple months of that. And if you're at 20K right now in top line revenue and you get 30 or 40 clients for 3 months in a row, your business will be drastically different. But you got to make sure every pole is in the water and your system, your process is systemized to handle the flow of fish coming into your boat, so you don't catch
Right.
them, whatever.
Right. The fishing analogy
works.
works so well. That's our thing.
It.
That's what we're going to use. So one of the things that we actually stumbled upon this yesterday, and it kind of fits into what we were talking about right now. Me and Jimmy were just having a conversation, as friends do, and we were talking about, you know, the gym and growing, and as the only conversation that we have as friends, we talk about like other stuff, like, you know, Jimmy's got some weird things that he does, like he plays instruments and he's a cowboy at hand. But neither here nor there, we were talking about something, and it's perfect to this. One of the things you need to do is, you know, the title of this is get 30 new small group clients in your gym. So the number is irrelevant, right? You have to look at what you did last month, and then you have to kind of walk that up. So it's like you can't go from 5 to 30, right? I mean, you can, but your system's probably not going to be able to handle that. So every month, Jimmy, and I think it's a great idea, and I'm going to steal it, sets a target for how many new clients he wants to achieve. So Jimmy, what was your goal for this month?
Our target this month is 26 new members.
And how did you stumble upon 26? Because you had a month where, you know, what was it? When did we do that? That was last month? It was 2 months ago. 2 months ago. 2 months ago.
2 months ago. July.
So you hit 38 new members in July. How did you stumble upon only adding 26 for this month?
The reason as to which we set our numbers this month is because, so when you look at your goals, you have to backtrack your loss rate into that goal, right? So if you want to add X amount of members in the month that you're in, right? And when you look at, you know, so as an example, you guys in listening out here have probably taken a physics class at some point in your life, right? I mean, if you're educated gym owners, maybe you went to college, maybe you didn't, but you probably took some sort of physics class in high school, right? So if you look at just client acquisition alone, you're looking at it in a vacuum, right? But we have to look at it with the friction and environment elements added to it. So like when you're in physics class, like, oh, we're just going to look at this in a vacuum, how gravity acts on this thing. But the friction is really like the loss rate. And you have to add that in, because if you don't add that in, you just look at it in a vacuum. Oh, I want to add X amount of members. But if you want to add 12 and you lose 12, then you're staying stagnant, right? So,
well, not actually. So hold on, I'm going to throw one wrench in there as well.
Yeah.
Because yes, if your loss rate is 12 and you added 12, technically you netted the same. But if you have people who are on hold or on freeze, those also kind of count towards your negative and your loss. And that also adds a little layer of friction in there, because if you have 5 people on hold, your net is -5 now, because those 5 people are not paying you even though they're not on hold. Exactly. So technically, yes, they are a member, but they're not paying you because they're on hold.
But you
so
have to
account for that in there.
Yeah, you have to know your hold percentage, right? And so you have to know your average hold percentage and your average loss percentage, right? If you can get your loss percentage somewhere between 4 and 6% per month, you're doing great. We'll have to kind of figure out numbers on freeze rate. There's different seasons where more freezing is going to happen with your membership, but we set our numbers based upon our projected loss rate from the month before and the months leading in, and how much capacity we had at our gym. Because we're dealing with a little bit of a capacity issue right now at our facility. So we need another trainer, we need a little more space. So we have some things we have to do to get there. So reason why we set 26 as the goal is because it then trickles and sets up all of our appointments and conversion rate and all that kind of stuff. So when you look at your conversion rate, you want to know your numbers and you want to know on aggregate. So every single lead source you have coming into your facility, what is your average lead to client acquisition rate? What does that look like, right? So probably should be somewhere between 20 and 30%, right? If we really want to do the math, because you're going to have a certain amount from referral and a certain amount from Facebook and a certain amount from Google and all this kind of stuff. And certain clients are worth more than others in regards to their quality. But we want to have that 30% conversion rate kind of across the board, because you're going to get the referrals are going to convert almost like they're just going to lie down and be part of your gym. And the Google is going to be a little bit less. The Google, I sound like such an old guy. The Google.
Sorry, man, that was good. It breaks up the podcast.
Yeah, is going to be a little bit less than a referral, and then Facebook's going to be a very low conversion rate. But you're paying for the lead, and it's it's just the way it is. So, but don't listen to this podcast if you're a new gym owner and be like, I have an 80% conversion rate. I don't care if you have an 80% conversion rate if you have 5 leads a month. Okay. Yeah. Like that's not what we need to be doing with our business, right? You need more volume to get there. So when we look at it and we set our goals, I set my goals for 2 reasons, right? I set my goals so that my manager has her eyes on the prize, right? She's like, this is what Jimmy has said I need to accomplish this month. So I'm going to go out and hunt for these people and get this going and do all the tasks I need to do to make this happen, right? So it helps her stay motivated to hit that number because she wants to make the business proud and push forward and do what I think she's capable of, right? So that's one of the psychological reasons why we set that number. How we calculate what that number looks like is we do kind of an average value of what our history looks like. So what have we been doing when we've been running certain campaigns? What's the best we've done? And what's going on with the history of our growth, right? And what's going on with the season that we're in. So in August, there was a much lower goal because August has huge attrition and not a lot of growth in the gym industry, the month of August, right? Granted, we hit our best month ever in revenue during that month, but that's because we did some other things to fix it. We can talk about those in a different challenge, or we talked about them in a different podcast, but we can talk about it again later on another episode. But when we look at the goal for August, it was like we ran a free month promo and we ran a little bit of digital advertising. So my goal was like 20 members added, including the metal card conversions, right? The free month conversions. And I think we ended up at like 26, right? Last month. So I'm like, okay, in September, let's go 26, but not including free month conversions, right? Or free month conversions to paid, yes, but not including free month acquisition, not getting those free months started, right? So it's a higher number. And we go, okay, so we backtrack it and we go, what do we need to do with our advertising? How many appointments do we need every week? As far as our conversion rate goes and our show rate goes and all these things, we have all these numbers. So then we can backtrack it and go, okay, to get 26 members closed in the month, 26 to 30, right? We need 30 leads a week. 30 leads a week. So that then gives me my task to go, if we're not getting 30 leads a week, what am I doing as the owner, as the marketing person, to get those 30 leads a week, right?
Yeah, and that was ultimately what I was going to say. So the way to do this, that I'm going to kind of like, the ultimate question is how to get 30 new small group clients in your gym in 30 days. And the answer to that question is, again, multiple poles in the water, like we talked about. But the two major levers that you're going to kind of pull in this, if you're actually going to take this and run with it, well, one, you have to look at what you did last month and say, okay, I only signed up 10 people. So realistically, to go from 10 to 30 is going to be a big difference. So this is why we're kind of giving you this. But how many leads did we both get in order to get to that around 30 number? And the answer to that for us, for me and my gym, was around 100 leads a month was the number that we needed in order to convert into that 30 number. So you have to look at it like that. It's not like, okay, I got 50 people in the 50 leads total and I was able to close 30 of them. In reality, I wish it worked like that. But again, you're just gonna, I wish it worked like that, but it doesn't. You're just gonna have people who just, they opt in, they don't do anything, they don't respond. You're gonna have people who fall off, and people think about it, and whatever happens, the tooth fairy comes to them and then they decide not to do it. So you're gonna have that, right? So it went from about 100 to get about 30. That's like the numbers, right? Now, for us, the two biggest levers that we pulled in order to do this was doing a buddy week. So we got a lot of referrals in really, really fast, and then Facebook ads and making sure that the Facebook ads were on. So Jimmy, what is the typical ad spend that you usually have on there in order to get like that 30 clients a month? How much are you spending per month to actually do that, to get enough leads to satisfy that?
Per month is
right. Well, for that month, we'll go from that month that we had.
To get that many leads coming through, you're probably spending, because you want to make sure you cover all your bases, right? So you're going to get referrals, you're going to get website leads. When you're calculating some of these numbers, I sometimes negate those for my digital advertising.
Yeah.
So that I know that my digital
advertising,
you have to. So that I know that my digital advertising will give me all the leads that I want to accomplish the goal. And then I have icing on the cake, which are actually higher quality client, for the most part, higher quality leads, higher quality clients from the website and referral base. So you're going to get like 10 or so from that, like on a monthly basis, pretty much. If you run a good gym, like if you're not getting that many, talk to us. We'll tell you how to fix your gym so you actually have a good product. If you're not getting like 10 or so referrals or website leads a month, there's something wrong, horribly wrong. So we'll talk for free. We'll help you. Okay. So when you look at Facebook and Instagram and that kind of thing, typically on Facebook and Instagram, we spend roughly $75 to $100 a day to get that to happen. So
almost $3,000 a month. That is what you spend.
Yeah. And sometimes when a campaign's going really well, we'll bump it all the way up to $5,000 for the month. We'll just keep ratcheting it up. If a campaign's going really well and it's got good return and we have the capacity for the members, then I'll spend as much as $5,000 a month. That's probably the most. So somewhere in that, and some months we spend a little less, just depending on what's going on. If my ad kind of falls apart or I have to revamp some stuff or whatever it may be. But to get that many leads, because if you're getting, let's just say, for example, let's just say your ad campaign is going okay, right? And let's say you're spending $90 a day and you're getting $30 leads, right? So you're getting 3 leads a day, right? So 3 leads a day, 30 days, right? You're right around where you want to be,
Yeah. And again, it just depends. We spent a lot less to do that. So we spent about $1,000 a month in order to get there. But again, it just depends. Like I have other poles in the water that are pulling those in. But again, I like the way Jimmy words it and says it. It's just like, I can't, and this is the truth. Website should be good. People are going to call you. You're going to have kind of like, those leads that trickle in, right? But they're not a guarantee. You need to be able to put money on something and know, okay, I'm going to get X amount of leads from this. And Facebook is really the way to dial that up and make sure that you accomplish that. So yeah, if you want 30 new clients this month, you need to be able to spend some money on advertising and you need to be running a buddy week. And we did a whole episode on buddy week, so go back and listen to that. And you need to be running that buddy week, try and make that like a big thing. hype it up, get a lot of clients to bring their friends in there. Every person that comes in, you offer them a free week of training, get them to sit down with you, go over it, sign them up, and then give them the free week. This way they're not holding you up. And try to do that buddy week earlier on in the month. So this way, if you're behind the 8 ball, so let's say buddy week works out well and you sign up 8 people from buddy week, which is possible, right? You sign up 8 people from buddy week. Now, say you signed up a couple other people from website and whatever else. And now you're at maybe 15 and you're halfway through the month. Okay, I need another 15 more. I'm not running buddy week, so I need to make sure I need to dump a little bit more money into Facebook in order to pull the rest of those leads out of that. So just keep that in mind. You got to find that percentage of how many leads you need versus how many you convert in order to get that to those numbers. So this is why running the business is not, it's kind of boring because you're just literally running it based on numbers and that's it. It has nothing to do with anything else. You can't hope and pray for any of this to happen. You literally have to spend money, acquire leads, and pick up the phone and start dialing and just work those leads like crazy. And that is going to be the key in growing and getting 30 new small group clients into that gym. So guys, click that link below. You can book your free no sales discovery call. We're actually just going to hop on the phone and actually help you. I know it's mind blowing because not many people want to help, but we actually want to help because we've been scammed by gurus before. We see what these other guys are doing out there and it's just not right. So we want to help you. If you're interested in that, just click that link below. Anthony and Jimmy, Fitness Profit Multiplier, and we are out.